Hi guys, and welcome to another Watch Geek video and another unboxing and first impressions. Today we're unboxing the latest model from Watchdives, and I'm glad they went from that inscription and dolphin logo to this more serious trident within a shield. I really do like this. This model is called the WD1965, which stands for Watchdives in 1965. And if you're into watches, you know what came out in 1965. Yes, it was the first Seiko diver, also known as the 62 MAS. So this is naturally an homage to that watch. So let's take it out, remove the packaging, and check it out. And yes, this is the 62 MAS through and through. The case shape, look at it. The bezel, even the markers and hands, everything is done to be like the 62 MAS, but this version comes in a lot of very funky colors, including this sunburst orange. Most of the dials offered are done in sunburst, and I actually do like it. One thing that I particularly like about this model is the size, because this is a 38mm watch instead of the more regular 40, and I actually love that because the 62 MAS style case has pretty long lugs, and let's say on my small 6.5-inch wrist, a Seiko version that's 40mm, it's gonna look funny, but this I believe is gonna look really good. The watch, like I said, this is the second generation where they apparently improved the bezel action and also improved the bracelet, going from pins to screws, as you can see. The clasp is still the regular 5-hole adjustment clasp, and that's one thing where they can improve on this. But this is a $100 watch, even under $100 for solid links, solid end links, links held with screws, and a machined clasp, despite having this 5-point adjustment, is pretty epic. Comes with a sapphire crystal, aluminum bezel, and I'm actually glad they went with an aluminum insert because of the vintage feel of the watch. The only thing missing from the original 62 MAS is the boxed sapphire, because the boxed crystal, because this one just has a slightly domed sapphire. Very cool. The crown is naturally a screw-in crown. It's signed with the new Watchdives logo, and the case, as you can see, is a combination of brushed and polished surfaces. Very cool. And I'll have the macro shots ready for the full review, but as you can see here, you have some linear brushing, then you have a polished part that separates it from the top surface, and the top surface, as you can see, is circularly brushed, which is very cool. And here you can see how the markers and hands with these silver surrounds catch the light pretty much perfectly. Very nice. And I do like this sunburst orange. It brings some life to the watch, and this is like an ideal summer beater because it's so simple and because it's so cheap at $100. Another cool feature is that this is not automatic. That's why it appears so thin. This is actually a quartz watch, but they went with Seiko's VH31 movement, which is a mecaquartz, so you get a sweeping seconds hand to imitate the mechanical tick of a seconds hand, but you get the convenience of a quartz. So it's a grab and go watch. Whenever you take it, it's gonna be working. It's always gonna be accurate, which is pretty cool. And I'm really glad they went with a mecaquartz instead of the ticking of the seconds hand, because then you see the misalignments and everything like this. You don't have to worry about that. It's a very, very cool watch. So let's put it on my wrist. My wrist, like I said, is 6.5 inches. And I believe because of the 38mm size, I believe this is gonna look pretty much perfect. I already sized the bracelet. I just couldn't help myself. So here it is on my 6.5-inch wrist. Yup, this is pretty much perfect. As you can see, those long lugs are now the right size for my wrist. If this was 40, it would not fit my wrist. If you have a bigger wrist, this is gonna look even more vintage than it does on mine. Very cool. The whole watch, the bracelet, everything follows the contour of my wrist. The watch is not too heavy, and because it's so low, as you can see, it's so thin, it sits low, and the case, as you can see, perfectly follows everything. Wow, very nice. Okay, for $100 as a beater and grab and go quartz watch, this is very, very cool. So now we're just gonna do a Lume shot, and that's gonna be it for today. But like I said, do stay tuned for the full review when I do the macro shots and everything. And I do like these bevels. Oh, that's one of the things that they also changed. Apparently on the first generation, the hands didn't have as much of beveling, so they increased that on the second generation, and as you can see, the hands do catch the light quite nicely. Very cool. So let me just charge the watch for a few seconds and we're gonna be back. Okay, with the watch charged, let's zoom in, let the camera focus, and turn off the lights. Oh wow, okay, the lume is outstanding. It really glows brightly, it glows green, so this is probably C3. Even though the camera shows it like blue, it's more green than blue. So I believe this is gonna be very, very readable all night long. The whole bezel is also lumed. That's something that I wouldn't do. I would just lume the pip at 12 o'clock, but I understand why they did it. People love lume. But the markers are incredibly large, and as you can see, they're gonna be readable, probably even when the hands stop being readable. Anyways, let's turn on the light. Let's do the bezel. I forgot to do the bezel action, and that's gonna be it for today. Very nice clicky action, very precise action. It's slightly too smooth for my taste. In other words, it has too little resistance for my own taste. If you follow my channel, you know I like bezels that like require you to really grab them and turn them with some force. This one is pretty easy to turn, and because of these teeth, it's pretty easy to grip. So for my own taste, it's too loose. I mean, too smooth, but for someone else, it's probably gonna be better than it is for me. But like I said, that's my personal preference. I always like bezels that really require you to work them, because that way I'm always positive that they're not gonna move accidentally. But overall, for $100, I really cannot complain. Very cool looking watch. I mean, it is based on one of the icons of Seiko, but done in a very practical and cheap way, meaning that it's a perfect beater. You don't really feel sorry wearing this, trashing this, so it's a perfect summer watch. Very cool, and I do like the sunburst effect of the dial. Anyways, that's it when it comes to this unboxing and first impressions. Like I said, do stay tuned for the full review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.